Hi, second grade. Today is Thursday, May 28th, and I'm glad you're here today. We still have 4 more days of distance learning, so remember you still have 4 more videos to watch. So don't quit, keep going, and keep working hard. Today, if you look at your matrix, it tells you that we are going to read Tiki Tiki Tembo. And this is a really fun story. And Mrs. Mickelson hopes she doesn't get her tongue twisted during this story because it's kind of a tricky one to read. So I'll do my best. And I want to introduce the story to you now. It is called, like I said, Tiki Tiki Tembo. The setting is China. And I'm going to show you the front cover. And on the front cover, there's a really pretty kite. You see that kite? And kites were invented in China over 2,000 years ago. So if you get a chance to go outside and fly a kite, you can think about how they were invented in China 2,000 years ago. That's a long time. The focus today is summarizing. And when we summarize, we tell the story in a very shortened way. It's a little different than a retelling. We only tell the very, very most important parts of the story. So I will help you with that after I'm done reading the story. So we'll practice that focus after the story is read. The genre is a folk tale. And a folk tale is a story that has been passed down from generation to generation. And many people will write down those folk tales after they've heard them in their families for many generations. And then they get told different ways. So folk tales can be really interesting to read. And they often tell a story about life and teach a lesson about life. We have 3 vocabulary words. The first one is custom. Custom. So listen for that word. Something that is a custom is something that you do the same way over and over again. I can think of a custom that we have in the United States that goes along with learning that we had earlier this year. Remember when we learned about the Star-Spangled Banner? It's a custom in the United States for the Star-Spangled Banner to be played at the beginning of a sporting event. That is a custom, something that you do the same over and over again. The next vocabulary word is honored. Now, the H is silent. It's not honored. Looks like it, doesn't it? But it's honored. And something that is honored is treated with special attention. Unfortunate is our third vocabulary word. Now remember I taught you that the prefix un means not. So you can think of that as not fortunate. And someone who has something unfortunate happen to them has bad luck or bad things happen to him. One example I can give is it's unfortunate that we can't be together today at school. That makes me sad. But we are still doing the best we can, right? So think about things that are unfortunate, and later in life, fortunate things will happen. So are you ready for the story? Tiki Tiki Tembo. And I'm going to come up to the camera so that you can see the pictures well. Here's the beginning. It's a picture of some rocky formations in China. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, it was the custom of all fathers and mothers in China to give their first and honored sons great long names. Now, you heard 2 of our vocabulary words already. Custom, something they do again and again, and honored, something is treated with special respect. So it was a custom of all fathers and mothers in China to give their first and honored sons great long names. But second sons were given hardly any name at all. In a small mountain village, there lived a mother who had 2 little sons. Her second son she called Chang, which meant little or nothing. But her first and honored son she called Tiki Tiki Tembo, No Se Rembo, Terry Berry, Richie Pip, Perry Pembo. Now you can see why this one's going to be a little tricky for me to read. And Tiki Tiki Tembo, no chair rembo, chari bar richie pip peri pembo meant the most wonderful thing in the whole world. Now you can just look at the pictures and listen carefully. You don't have to follow along with the words. I'm not showing you the words as well today because I want you to listen carefully to my questions and look carefully at the pictures. Every morning, the mother went to wash in a little stream near her home. The two boys always went chattering along with her. On the bank was an old well. Can you see the well? Don't go near the well, warned the mother, or you will surely fall in. The boys did not always mind their mother, and one day they were playing beside the well and on the well when Chang fell in. Now remember, Chang is the younger son with the short name. Uh-oh, there's a problem now. And you know when there's a problem, we need a solution. Tiki Tiki Tembo, no ser rembo, cherry berry, richie pip peri pembo ran as fast as his legs could carry him to his mother and said, "Most honorable mother, Chang has fallen into the well." "The water roars, little blossom. I cannot hear you," said the mother. Then Tiki Tiki Tembo, no ser rembo, cherry berry, richie pip peri pembo raised his voice and cried, "Oh, most honorable one, Chang has fallen into the well." "That troublesome boy," answered his mother. "Run and get the old man with the ladder to fish him out." Troublesome means he causes trouble. Then Tiki Tiki Tembo, no ser rembo, cherry berry, richie pip peri pembo ran as fast as his little legs could carry him to the old man with the ladder and said, "Old man with the ladder, Chang has fallen into the well. Will you please come and fish him out?" "So," said the old man with the ladder, "Chang has fallen into the well." Do you think the man will help? How could having a ladder help to get Chang out of the well? And he ran as fast as his old legs could carry him. Step over step, he went into the well, picked up little Chang, and step over step, brought him out of the well. So the problem is solved. Do you think the story could end right there? It could, but we don't have a life lesson yet, do we? He pumped the water out of him and pushed the air into him, and pumped the water out of him and pushed the air into him, and soon Chang was just as good as ever. So let's stop and think about where we are in the story. What is the difference in the boys' names? And how did the boys disobey their mother? And I also want you to try to answer, how did the older boy save his younger brother? What kind of a lesson might be coming up in this story? One lesson is they should have obeyed their mother, right? But there's going to be another lesson as well. Looks like there was a big parade. Do you remember when we learned about Chinese New Year when we read our Scholastic News? Now, for several months, the boys did not go near the well, but after the festival of the 8th moon, they ran to the well to eat their rice cakes. So let's go back. This must have been the festival of the 8th moon. Looks like fun, doesn't it? So now they're back at the well. They're eating their rice cakes. Can you predict what might happen? They ate near the well. They played around the well. They walked on the well. And Tiki Tiki Tembo, no se rembo, chari bari ruchi pip peri pembo fell into the well. Oh no, what do you think Chang will do? And what problem might Chang have? Do you have some ideas? Let's find out. Chang ran as fast as his little legs could carry him to his mother and said, "Oh, most honorable mother, Tiki Tiki Tembo, no Sir Rambo, Cherry, Barry, Ruchi, Pip, Perry, Pembo has fallen into the well." "The water roars, little one. I cannot hear you." So little Chang took a deep breath. "Almost, mother, most honorable," he panted. "Tiki, Tiki Tembo, no Sir Rambo, Cherry, Barry, Ruchi, Pip, Perry, Pembo has fallen into the well." "Tiresome child, what are you trying to say?" said his mother. So do you see the problem that Chang has? He tries again. "Honorable mother, Chari, Bari, Rambo, Tiki, Tiki." He gasped. Pip has fallen into the well." "Unfortunate son, surely the evil spirits have bewitched your tongue. Speak your brother's name with reverence." Reverence means honor and faithfulness. Poor little Chang was so out of breath from saying that great long name, and he didn't think he could say it one more time. But then he thought of his brother in the old well. Can you think of why it's important that he thought of his brother in the old well? It sounds like Chang was just about to give up because he's running out of breath from saying that great long name. But then he remembers how he loves his brother. So let's see, can he try one more time? Chang bowed his little head clear to the sand, took a deep breath, and slowly, very slowly said, "Most honorable mother, Tiki, Tiki, Tembo, no Serembo, Chari, Bari, Ruchi, Pip, Perry, Pembo is at the bottom of the well." "Oh no, not my first and honored son, heir of all I possess." Here's the word heir. Isn't that spelled funny? H-E-I-R. And that's pronounced heir. It's kind of a silly spelling for that word, isn't it? Heir means that he's the firstborn, so that when she dies, he is going to get everything she owns. So let me repeat what the mother said. "Oh no, not my first and honored son, heir of all I possess. Run quickly and tell the old man with the ladder that your brother has fallen into the well." Did you hear how the mother just said, "your brother"? That was an easier way to say it, wasn't it? So Chang ran as fast as his little legs would carry him to the old man with the ladder. Under a tree, the old man with the ladder sat bowed and silent. Old man, shouted Chang. "Come right away. Tiki Tiki Tembo, no Sir Rambo, Chari Bari, Ruchi Pip Perry Pembo has fallen into the stone well." Now, what do you think the old man will do? Do you think he'll come and help? But there was no answer. Puzzled, he waited. Then with his very last bit of breath, he shouted, "Old man with the ladder! Tiki Tiki Tembo, no Sir Rambo, Chari Bari Ruchi Pip Perry Pembo is at the bottom of the well." "Miserable child, you disturb my dream. I had floated into a purple mist and found my youth again. There were glittering gateways and jeweled blossoms. If I close my eyes, perhaps I will again return." So he wants to go back to his nap. What is Chang going to do? Poor little Chang was frightened. How could he say that great long name again? "Please, old man with the ladder, please help my brother out of the cold well." Was that a good way for Chang to say it? Just to say my brother, that was easier, wasn't it? "So," said the old man with the ladder, "your mother's precious pearl has fallen into the well." There they go, walking with the ladder. Do you see mother there waiting for help? Do you think this story will have a happy ending? The old man with the ladder hurried as fast as his old legs could carry him. Step over step, step over step, he went into the well. And step over step, step over step, out of the well, with the little boy in his arms. Then he pumped the water out of him, and pushed the air into him, and pumped the water out of him, and pushed the air into him. Oh, I hope he's going to be okay. But little Tiki Tiki Tembo, no Serembo, Charibari Ruchi Pip Peri Pembo had been in the water so long, all because of his great long name, that the moon rose many times before he was quite the same again. So if the moon rose many times, that means many days went by, and it took him a long time to recover. But he did recover. So here's the lesson. The book says, and from that day to this day, the Chinese have always thought it wise to give all their children little short names instead of great long names. Did you like that story? So the lesson is that giving a short name can make it easier in times of trouble. I like that story. That's a long name. Can you practice saying Tiki Tiki Tembo, No Sarembo, Charibari Ruchi Pip Peri Pembo? See if you can say it fast 5 times. Now we're going to learn how we can summarize the story. So I'm going to put some work under the camera, and we'll work on doing summarizing, and then we'll do some math. I hope you liked that story. Did you practice trying to say Tiki Tiki Tembo, No Serembo, Charibari Ruchi Pip Peri Pembo 5 times? It's not easy, is it? So now we're going to talk about how to write a summary after you finish reading a story. And before we talk about how to do it, I want to talk to you about why we would do this. Remember, I always try to talk to you about why we learn what we learn. And again, it's because it will help you as a reader. If you write a summary of what you have read, it helps you to remember what you read, and you become a better comprehender. You then remember what is most important, and you are more likely to keep that learning that you just made right in your memory. So, when you write a summary, we have 5 letters you can remember, SWBST, and those stands for 5 important words. Somebody wanted, but so then. You can take many, many stories, almost any story, and use this method to write a summary, and I'm going to demonstrate that for you. But first of all, I want to make sure you understand what a summary does. The summary retells the most important parts of the story in a much shorter version. I'm not even going to use the long name Tiki Tiki Tembo, No Sarembo, Charibari Ruchi Pip Peri Pembo. I'm not even going to use that in my summary because that would make the summary very long. The summary tells what happens. It only uses important details, and it uses a mix of important keywords and your own words. Also, it does not include any opinions, so you wouldn't say, this was a great story. Not in a summary. That would be if you were doing a review, but not in a summary. Now, remember, we learned what opinion means, right? It's how you feel about something. So, somebody wanted, but so then. So I made a chart on my paper. If we were in school, you know I would be putting this on the big chart. Now, it's a little bit hard to see all of the words, so I'm going to fold it just a little bit, and we're going to start with the column somebody. So, who wanted something in the story? It was Chang. He was one of the main characters. The other main character was Tiki Tiki Tembo, No Sarembo, Charibari Ruchi Pip Peri Pembo, right? And you know what Chang wanted? He wanted to help get his brother, can you predict what I'm going to write? Out of the well. Okay? Chang wanted to help get his brother out of the well, but there was a problem. It took we're going to put 2 O's and that kind of too long to say his, I'm just going to say his brother instead of Tiki Tiki Tembo, No Sarembo, Cherry Berry, Ruchi Pip Prairie Bembo. Right, it would take me a long time to write that, wouldn't it? Then that wouldn't really be a summary if I used something long in my summary. But it took too long to say his brother's name. Do you see I put an apostrophe before the S? Because his brother owns the name. So, his brother almost, what almost happened? Because it took so long. He almost died, didn't he? Then at the end, he was saved and now Chinese people find. Are you reading it with me? Find it wise to give short names. Now, I didn't tell everything that happened in the story. I just told the most important parts of it. So, let's try reading the whole thing. We don't read the word somebody. We're going to start with Chang. Chang, read with me. Chang wanted to help get his brother out of the well. But it took too long to say his brother's name. So his brother almost died. Then he was saved, and now Chinese people find it wise to give short names. Now, what you could do is you could take the words that we just read and put those all into one paragraph on a piece of paper like in your journal, and you would have just written a summary for the story. So remember those keywords: somebody, wanted, but, so, then. Now, 2nd grade, this was a skill that you practiced with me together, and I'm not going to make you try this on your own. But as you go through the grades, you will get many chances to write a summary. You sure could do this on your own with the book that you read too, if you can remember the words somebody, wanted, but, so, then. So I'm not going to make you do a summarizing activity on Seesaw today. Instead, the matrix tells you that today you could choose another 2nd grade memory book page to complete. But if you've been doing them every day when I have mentioned them on the videos and when I have assigned them, you are probably already done. So what you could do today is read the letter that I wrote to you on the second to the last page. Read that letter, have some practice with your fluency, maybe read it 3 times, and look at the pictures that I put on the very last page of your memory book page. And you could also go back and finish any page that you didn't already finish. So that's what you can do today. You don't have to do anything on Seesaw unless you have fallen a little bit behind, and then you can use the rest of today to do the catch-up for that. So I've only seen some of your memory book pages, so many of you do have more to do and more to show me on Seesaw. So try to get caught up. But you do have math to do today. It's a review. You're going to complete numbers 1 through 17. So we're going to talk about that. But before we talk about that, let's correct yesterday's math. So this is what I assigned yesterday. Let's see. Here we go. Number 4, you should have written 7 o'clock a.m. Number 5, 2:15 p.m. for washing the dog. Go swimming, 12:35 p.m. Soccer practice, now you had to draw the hands. So look carefully, make sure your minute hand is right through the number. Make sure your hour hand is halfway between the 3 and the 4. You circled p.m. Sleeping in bed would be 2:30 a.m. Short hour hand, long minute hand. Check yours. Eat dinner, 6:45. Make sure you have the short hour hand. Now look at it, it's almost on the 7 because remember it is 6:45. So that's why that hour hand is almost on the 7, but it's not on it yet. So don't have it way back here. Have it getting close to the 7. Long minute hand on the 9. Circle p.m. At midnight, I am usually asleep. At noon, I may be eating my lunch. Let's go on the back. You should have written 4 o'clock p.m. for Zach and his lacrosse practice. That's a sport. I don't think he'd be practicing at 4 a.m. And for Lakota, going to the library 1 hour after 2:25 is 3:25. You should have circled p.m. And it's 3 a.m. Are you more likely to be on your way home from school or sleeping in your bed? And sleeping in your bed. And it would, if you talk to someone in your family about how you would know, it is because if it was 3 a.m., you'd be sleeping. If it's 3 p.m., you would be leaving school at 3 p.m. 3 a.m., you would be sleeping in your bed. Now, Christy wants to go to her friend Jill's party. The invitation says the party starts at 1:30 a.m. This is wrong. What mistake was made on the invitation? The mistake is she should not have written a.m. That would be in the middle of the night. So you could have a party at 1:30, but then it should be 1:30 p.m. So let's look at your work for today. Wow. This is your second to your last math assignment. Wow. Complete each sentence. Here are the words. Can you read them with me? Hour, half hour, quarter hour, minute, AM, PM, digital, analog. The long hand on an analog clock is the blank hand. Now, I'm going to read these kind of fast. I want you to do them on your own later. I just want to make sure you hear all the words. Or you could pause it after each one that I read. The short hand on an analog clock is the blank hand. 15 minutes is a blank. 30 minutes is a blank. A clock that uses hands to show the time is an blank clock. Remember what I taught you about using the word and? An? That means the next word has to start with a vowel. A clock that uses numbers to show the time is a blank clock. The hours from noon to midnight are blank. The hours from midnight to noon are blank. So as you use each word, cross it out and then you'll know which one you have left. And if you get to the end and the one you have left doesn't make sense, go back and see if maybe you made a mistake somewhere. Okay, now you are going to read the time and write the time. Tell what time is shown. Draw the hands on each clock. Remember, the minute hand goes right through the number. And circle your best choice right here. Walk the dog. Would that be 11:45 a.m. or p.m.? Go hiking. Would that be 2:30? You either circle a.m. or p.m. Don't circle these. You circle a.m. or p.m. And 17, wash the dinner dishes. Circle a.m. or p.m. And enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Remember to finish up your memory book if you're not already done. And go to Seesaw and show me the pages if you haven't already shown them to me. Have a great day.